Someone in your life has said this to you. Maybe it was your parents, maybe it was a coworker, maybe it was a realtor who had something to gain from you buying a house. You're just throwing money away, renting. That sentence. That one sentence has pressured millions of Americans into buying homes they couldn't actually afford, at the wrong time, in the wrong market, for the wrong reasons. And ironically, it has made many of them significantly poorer. Today we're running the actual numbers, no opinions, no real estate industry talking points, just the math. And the math is going to surprise you. Let's start with why this myth exists in the first place. The idea that renting is wasteful comes from one simple observation. At the end of the month, a renter has no equity. They paid rent and got nothing back on paper. A homeowner, on the other hand, paid their mortgage and technically owns a little more of their house. That comparison sounds logical, but it leaves out almost everything that actually matters financially. Here's what the renting is throwing money away crowd never mentions. Property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA fees, maintenance and repairs, PMI if you put less than 20% down, the interest portion of your mortgage, which in the early years is almost the entire payment. In the first year of a 30-year mortgage on a $400,000 home at 7% interest, you pay roughly $27,000 in interest alone. That $27,000 builds zero equity. It goes straight to the bank. So tell me again, who's throwing money away? Let's break down exactly what it actually costs to own a home in America in 2026. We'll use a real example. A $400,000 home. 20% down payment. That's $80,000 out of pocket up front. 30-year mortgage at 7% interest. Your monthly mortgage payment, about $2,129. But that's just the start. Property taxes average about 1.1% of home value per year. On a $400,000 home, that's $367 a month. Homeowners insurance, roughly $150 a month. Maintenance and repairs. Financial experts recommend budgeting 1% of home value per year. That's another $333 a month. Add it all up, and the true monthly cost of owning that $400,000 home is roughly $2,979 per month. Not $2,129. $2,979. Now here's the part that changes everything. Of that $2,979 per month in year one, how much actually builds equity? About $296. $296 a month is going toward principal in year one. Everything else, interest, taxes, insurance, maintenance, is gone. Now let's look at a renter in the same city paying $2,200 a month. The renter has $779 less going out every month compared to the true cost of owning. What if the renter invested that $779 every month into a low-cost index fund instead? At 10% average annual returns over 10 years, that's approximately $159,000. $159,000. Built entirely from the money saved by not buying. That's the number nobody puts in the comparison. There's also something called the price-to-rent ratio that most Americans have never heard of, but should know cold. It works like this. Take the purchase price of a home, divide it by the annual rent for a comparable property. If that number is below 15, buying probably makes financial sense. Between 15 and 20, it's a judgment call. Above 20, renting is almost always the smarter financial move. In most major U.S. cities right now, that ratio is way above 20. In San Francisco, it's around 40. In New York, Los Angeles, Seattle, Boston, you're looking at ratios of 25 to 35. What that means in plain English, in those cities, you would need home prices to keep appreciating significantly just to break even with renting and investing the difference. And here's the other thing nobody talks about. Home ownership locks up your capital. That $80,000 down payment is sitting in your walls. It's not liquid, it's not diversified. It's a single bet on a single property in a single neighborhood. If that neighborhood declines, you can't easily get out. If you need to move for a job opportunity, you either sell, potentially at a loss, or become an accidental landlord. Flexibility has a financial value, and renters have it. Buyers give it up on day one. Now, I want to be clear about something. I'm not saying never buy a home. Buying can absolutely be the right financial decision, but only under the right conditions. Here's when buying actually makes sense. Condition 1. You plan to stay for at least 7 to 10 years. The break-even point on buying versus renting, after accounting for all costs, is typically 6 to 8 years. If you're moving in 3 years, buying almost never makes financial sense. Condition 2. Your price-to-rent ratio is below 20. If you live in a market where you can buy for less than 20 times annual rent, the math starts working in your favor. Smaller cities, Midwest markets, parts of the South, these ratios exist. Condition 3. You have a full 20% down payment, and you still have 6 months of emergency fund left over. If buying a house wipes out your savings entirely, you are one repair bill away from financial crisis. The down payment is not the finish line, it's the starting line. Condition 4. You genuinely want the stability and you can truly afford it, not just qualify for it. Qualifying for a mortgage and being able to afford a mortgage are two very different things. Banks will lend you as much as legally possible. That does not mean you should borrow that much. If all 4 of those conditions are true for you, great, buy. It might be the right move, but if even one of them isn't, renting is not failure. Renting is strategy. The next time someone tells you you're throwing money away by renting, ask them this: how much of your mortgage payment last month went to principal? Most homeowners have no idea, because nobody told them to look. The American dream of homeownership is real, and for many people, in the right circumstances, it is a genuinely good financial move. But it is not automatically smarter than renting. It depends entirely on the numbers, your market, your timeline, your alternatives. The most dangerous financial decisions are the ones that feel culturally obvious. Nobody questions them. Everyone just does them. This is one of those decisions. Question it. Run your numbers. Check your price-to-rent ratio. Calculate your true monthly cost of ownership, not just the mortgage payment, and make the decision that's right for your financial life. Not the one that sounds right at a family dinner.